I'm doing a you'll love this. We're doing a story on a damn baseball coach who lost his job. He got fired twice in like 3 months.
Yeah, wow. Why was that? What happened?
Well, the district isn't saying anything. They wouldn't comment on camera. All you can do is speculate. So there's all kinds of allegations of player favoritism, reportedly, holding like out of season practices, abusive behavior. One player tried to do an audio recording of him in hopes of building a case against him.
Jeez.
Anyway, it's centered around a couple of parents and 2 players who don't play much, who were disgruntled, and so under pressure, the athletic director fired him in early July, then reinstated him after other parents and players came to his defense. But the pressure to get rid of him never waned, and it just kept mounting, and then early to mid October, he was just kind of he was kind of feeling, I don't want to say insecure, but he was upset over what had happened, and this pressure to get rid of him because all he's done is win.
Yeah.
For the 2 years he's been there. So he was told, just go see your district HR guy. If you got a problem, that's what HR is for, right?
Yeah.
So he goes and sees his HR guy, a guy by the name of Lars Kristen.
Oh yeah. He was the principal of
I know Lars.
Terra Linda High.
Yeah.
Guy.
So remember that name,
Yeah.
Lars Kristen. So he goes and he talks to Lars. 2 weeks later, Lars fires him by email.
Wow.
Lars fired him?
Well, Lars fired him by I have the email.
Wow. How did Lars? Wait a second. How does
you're relieved of your duties?
How did Lars fire him though? If Lars is not part of the administration at TAM.
Yeah. So his first order of business as interim principal at TAM was to get rid of Scott.
Oh, he became okay. I see.
So he notified him by email. This was October 30th. He told him to show up Monday to clear out your stuff. So I found out about it. I showed up on Monday and shot all of it. And then I went up to Christians and I said, hey, I got to ask, why are you doing it? He goes, well, we don't comment on administrative matters. And so some members of the team that showed up to kind of support him and, gave him a big hug. But there he is, just cleaning all of his shit.
Wow.
And then I did an interview with him later on at his house. So I'm going to run the story tomorrow, just on where we are at this point. Because there's a board meeting tonight, and there's another one on the 17th.
That's kind of a rare story, isn't it? High school coach getting fired for. I mean, it would be one thing if he was abusing the kids or something, but he wasn't. There wasn't any noticeable abuse.
Yeah. If you want to, you would put his hands on a kid, or
You know what? Hey, I say part of our show we could run with the idea.
Yeah.
We're not going to mention any names or anything, but we could just talk about how
youth sports and high school. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah,
let's
do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I got a timing schedule here. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Well, welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sport topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Bruce McGowan, longtime sports radio personality, and welcoming back our favorite other co-host for years and years and years, Vern Glenn. How are you, Vern?
I am back. Now, is it business or is it business?
Business. It's been when you're on the show. It's business.
Business.
That's right.
It is business. Yes.
It is business.
And let's see here. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question where we're giving away vacations to the first email with the correct answer. The vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort and Marina. Those vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to help defray the cost of the housekeeping. Check them out at lighthouseresortandmarina.com. And today's trivia theme is NFL Hall of Fame.
I like it.
I got. Let's see here. I got one easy question, one hard question, and one
kind of in between.
Sounds
good.
Well, Edward, we'll be the judge of that.
Oh, that's true. I remember the first show we did. I asked a question like, who was the big red machine? Who was Charlie Hustle?
Yeah.
And you were going, what?
Come
You can't answer
on.
questions like that.
Come
Go,
on.
we gotta see how, you know.
And then you go out and say, who pitched for the Cincinnati Reds in 1928?
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Evan, you're killing us.
Hey, Bruce, you like
Yeah,
baseball.
like I was there.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
it doesn't matter if you were there or not. If you follow baseball, you should know these things,
yeah,
right?
Right. Well, I can name you the Black Sox scandal in 1919. I can name you six of the 6 guys or the 8 guys that were held out because it's been written about so many times. So,
Yeah, but who was the plumber who handled the cousin whose house flooded the night before the game?
Now that I've never heard that story.
I'm just kidding.
Never heard that story. Hey, you had me going there for a minute. Yeah.
All right, this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding over 8%, secured by Bay Area real estate. That would be the San Francisco Bay Area real estate, the most conservative place around. It doesn't get any more conservative than that.
Not politically though.
No, that's true. Yeah, definitely not. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Yeah, that's true.
That is true. Although there's some very conservative people who live in the Bay Area. It's just
As
not,
a whole,
not
though. No.
as a whole, not yeah,
Not quite.
not quite.
Okay. Let's see here.
All right. So you working today, Vern?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I am.
Oh, that's right.
Hang on a second. Okay, all right.
Are you on the air tonight?
No, I'm not.
You're just doing reporting.
No, I'll be in tomorrow. Today's just a reporting day.
Oh, okay. So you put some stories together for.
Well, this baseball thing I'm gonna edit later on today.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Sounds like an interesting story.
And then I anchor tomorrow, and then Saturday I local show.
And you're going to be at the Raiders game, of course, on Sunday.
Oh yeah, Raiders Vikings on Sunday.
That'll be a good game. That's going to be a tough game for the Raiders. They're not going to have an easy time with it.
All right, guys, ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Bruce McGowan. And of course, on the phone, we welcome back yet again our favorite guest / previous co-host, Vern Glenn. How are you, Vern?
Yes, welcome. I missed you all.
Oh, we miss you too. So, off air, just before we get started, you were starting to tell us a story about what was going on in our local area, but I think it's just really interesting about youth sports and how parents can get involved and coaches and winning and losing. And yeah, tell us what was going on locally here.
Well, without naming any names, I'm currently working on a story that's going to air tomorrow. It's a local high school coach who was successful in his 2 years here, but it's just one of these situations where winning isn't enough. There are some parents who go along with, well, the coach is the law, and it's not a democracy, and you follow his plan, and right or wrong, the coach coaches, and that's the way it is. Then there's another collection of parents who think that, well, everybody should play, and at the end of the game, everybody gets orange fields and participant trophies. And this is just a situation where you get a couple of disgruntled parents of players who kind of rattle the cages enough where administrative people have just would rather just cut the problem off at the head and move on than deal with a complaint.
But how do you? I mean, this isn't t-ball, where
high school
is a little bit more serious. I mean, I understand. Listen, it's still high school, but who's to determine how much playing time each person is supposed to get? I mean, some kids don't even make the team.
Yeah, and
right?
to me, parents, Vernon, getting involved with their kids, unless the kid is being abused or being bullied by the coach. I mean, on the high school level, this seems kind of rare, doesn't it? That parents are putting pressure on the school to get rid of this coach.
Well, I heard Kaepernick's parents.
There's certain areas. Let's first of all, it's the Bay Area, so we tend to live in a bubble here, and inside that bubble are micro bubbles where a certain amount of people kind of feel entitled to speak their opinions, and opinions actually mean something. Unfortunately, it doesn't really translate to high school sports where the coach, is the law. At least that's where it is. I would say in 98% of the country. But in this particular case, these kids are unhappy. They're not playing. You basically earn your playing time by working hard and playing hard, and if you're successful, then that translates to playing time. Now, these are programs that are trying to establish something. They're trying to win. The better players are going to be put in situations in order to have that team succeed. And but there's a bunch of parents that think that that they come from the winning isn't everything standpoint, where it's a performance based kind of thing.
Well, let me ask you: did all the kids who tried out for the team, are they even on the team?
No.
So,
No.
I mean, what about the parents who say, "Hey, my kid tried out. He's not very good, but he tried out. He should be on the team and play anyway." I mean, you could go that far too, couldn't you?
Well, usually the kids know who the players are. That's the way it is. And there's some there is a baseball academy that is related to this team, and some feel that those who choose not to participate in the academy will not play on as much on the high school team, and kind of a pay for play type thing.
Oh.
And so there's allegations of that and player favoritism. There's reports of out of season practices. There's even allegations of a player recording the coach in hopes of picking up something that could be used against him.
Jeez.
In an effort to get rid of it. It's just
Wow.
it's like a CBS primetime drama.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, let me ask you:
Jeez.
are out of season practices not allowed?
Out of season practices normally are not allowed.
In any sports?
In most sports,
Really?
in football, there's states like Tennessee where in July they can't even touch you for the entire month. It's like a state law.
Wow.
So if you're caught holding practices, you're breaking the rules.
Okay,
Now,
but that's across the board, and that's what you do.
Yeah, this particular coach has a baseball academy that he runs through the summer, but in his mind, it has nothing to do with the high school baseball team.
You know what amazes me about this whole thing is if the team is successful in winning, and the parents of the kids who are not participating on a regular basis really have no beef. If it was, Little League, I could understand it maybe because the whole idea is, hey, everybody gets a chance to play. But this is high school ball, and the team is winning. And how can you argue, let's take some guys who are playing well, put them on the bench so my boy can play? That's just wrong.
Well, now,
That's wrong.
One thing I think that's kind of interesting is this whole baseball academy kind of pay to play type of thing. Let's say you have people, kids who are, let's say kid B is actually a little better than A, but because he didn't pay to go to the academy, he's sitting on the bench.
Well, do these kids have to pay to go to the academy, Vernon?
In this academy, yes, you pay to go to the academy, and what the money goes to is the baseball instruction, the umpires for the games that you play, the league games that you play. It's travel ball. It's glorified travel ball. That's what it is.
Interesting.
So the money goes to that. Now, getting back to Edward's point, if you're a gifted player, and let's just say you swim or you water polo or whatever, but you're a gifted baseball player, then I mean, come on. I mean, I'm sure it's clearly defined who the gifted athletes are.
Yeah.
If I got a player who's batting 400, but he runs track and field too, then hey, I want my player to be happy. I want my hitter to be happy. So if he's got to run in a 400-meter race and it doesn't affect my game, then fine.
Well, and also
Either when I pencil your name in the lineup, so you can keep that 400 for me.
And if I understand it correctly, this team that we're talking about, this was like their first major winning season
In a long time.
in a really long
Well,
time.
it's their second. It's been in 2 years. The first year was just out of nowhere. Won state sectionals for the first time in 85
Wow.
years.
In how many years?
85.
The next year made the quarterfinals of sectionals. So
And
it's a program that all of a sudden appeared on the radar.
Boy, and then I fire this guy. I mean, it just sounds, there's a lot more going on here than we know about, obviously.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but I can only report on the facts that I get.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll go with tomorrow.
That's an interesting story, to say the least. I mean, you don't hear about this kind of thing happening too often, and you hear about, on the pro level, on the college level, players having open revolt. In high school, coaches almost like wouldn't say a god, but it's almost like a military colonel or something.
Well, yeah, especially if there's no allegations of like physical or emotional abuse. It just sounds like it's non-playing time.
Yeah.
You know, and pay to play type
That
thing.
smacks of just, bad behavior on the part of parents. So I just don't go with that. But if that's the only thing, it sounds like there's got to be more to it than that. But we don't know. Like Vernon says, we don't know.
Well, as many athletes have often said when they've been wrongfully accused or rightfully accused, the truth will come out.
That's right. And the other one is the other dude did it. Okay. All right. We're going to cut to our first commercial break here. And again, the theme is NFL Hall of Fame. Steve Young was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2005. With which professional team did he start with after college? All right. So that's our question. The first email with the correct answer is going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to this question. Steve Young was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005.
The NFL Hall of Fame.
The NFL Hall of Fame,
Right.
That's correct. With which professional team did he start with after college? So don't read more into the it's not a trick question.
That's not a trick way, but it's not an easy one.
No, that's the question.
Yeah.
Okay. So we all know he ended his career, or he has major career with the 49ers,
Right.
but that's not where he started.
That's not where he
So
started.
that's the question: is with which professional team did he start with after college?
That's a good question.
Okay, so stay with us. You're listening
All right.
to Edward Brown and Bruce McGowan, and of course Vern Glenn back with us for today on Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial because we will be right back.
Ready.
Notice I had
It was the LA Express, I think, wasn't it, Vernon?
Yes, it was.
And didn't he get a
$40
huge,
million contract.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he got a
Supposed to
huge-
be like an annuity.
huge contract, and he only played for them, I think, a year or two, and he got all that money. William Oldenburg was the owner, and he went bankrupt. And I think one of the reasons the league failed was that he went bankrupt. But somehow Young I don't know if he got all of his money, but he got most of it.
Now, Young says he did not get all of his money, and then where things really went south is Donald Trump, the owner of the New Jersey Generals, wanted to move the season to the fall.
Oh, that's right.
To go head-to-head with the NFL, and he was thinking, well, maybe the league might absorb, one or maybe two of the teams. That's what he was thinking. But he was wrong.
He didn't get all his money though. He got some of it.
Yeah, some of it, he didn't get all of it.
But
That's what he said.
Probably some of it's not too bad though.
Yeah, really.
5 to 10 million, maybe.
Something.
He kept screaming, "It's an annuity! It's an annuity!"
Sorry, for tax purpose. Okay, ready? Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Bruce McGowan. Here was our first question on Football Hall of Fame. All right, Steve Young was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005. With which professional team did he start with after college? Gentlemen.
That was the USFL LA Express in Vernon.
LA Express.
He got a huge contract with him, didn't he?
$40 million contract.
And back in 1985, I think it was. That's an obscene amount of money back then.
It's all Donald Trump's fault.
Absolutely, yeah. And he says he did not get all of his $40 million.
Well, William Oldenburg was the guy that owned the Express, and he went bankrupt, and the league kind of failed after a couple of years. But Young made out okay. Went over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, played a couple of years there. Didn't do.
Yeah, he got the hell beat out of him with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then Bill Walsh brought him in.
Always.
The rest is history.
Yeah, I always remember the highlights of him playing the Green Bay Packer team in Green Bay at Lambeau during a snowstorm, and he was just getting the hell beat out of him in the snow. It was just not a pleasant sight to watch.
Was not fun.
And he didn't do too well against the Packers. As a matter of fact, I think the Packers beat him 4 times in a row in the playoffs, or 3 times in a row, until he finally threw that pass to Terrell Owens in '98. That amazing catch. I always think of Steve Young. He won that one Super Bowl. That's the one play that I always remember.
One of the nicest, most congenial guys I ever met. He says
great guy.
He says it was Jim McMahon that actually taught him how to properly throw a football.
Well, they both went to BYU.
Yeah,
they both went to BYU. I guess McMahon preceded him at BYU. So, and you think about Jim McMahon. Now he's had some serious health problems, from what I understand, but he was kind of a wild character, and just not your typical BYU quarterback at all.
No. In
fact, remember the golf tournament he played in when he was healthy? He was playing in bare feet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, it's funny. I remember with McMahon, Charles Martin from the Green Bay Packers had a bounty on him. So to
That's
speak.
right.
And it was just an illegal, unsportsmanlike tackle way after the play, and he dislocated. I think it was dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's like no one seemed to kind of make a big deal out of it, but oh my gosh, nowadays it'd be. And I mean, that put him out of football for months.
Yeah, and the Chicago in 1985, that was maybe one of the greatest teams for 1 year. Now they weren't great after that or before; they were okay. Yeah. But that 1 year, they were just dominant. I remember they came in and played the Niners, who had been dominant the year before and won the Super Bowl, and just buried the Niners at Candlestick Park, just destroyed them. So.
And back to Steve Young, the one play I remember was the run against Minnesota.
Oh, against Minnesota, yeah.
Oh,
Gets away again.
Gets
away again.
Oh, yeah.
Lon Simmons with the call. Hey, Vernon, when we got you on the phone, we got to talk about the Warriors because I know, nationally they are a big story. I mean, they may be the most dominant team in pro sports right now. As we speak, they have not lost a game. Was watching them the other night against Memphis, and Steph Curry was making a couple of amazing, ridiculous shots. I mean, have you ever seen, and I'm not going to ask Edward about this also, have either of you guys ever seen anybody who can shoot the outside shot as effectively as this guy? Because I can't remember anybody, and I've been around a long time.
I think the closest guy that I can think of that could shoot the rock like that was probably Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
But the way Steph Curry, and he dribbles the ball like it's on a string. I mean, I tell people he is as close to a video game as I've ever.
Well, it's a catch and shoot. And, you got to figure he's what, about 6'1"?
6'1". They say 6'3", but he's not 6'3".
He's listed at 6'3".
Yeah. And what does he weigh? What, 175 pounds or something?
175, 180. They list him at 190. They say 6'3", 190. He's not 6'3", 190.
And if I was 6'1", 175 pounds, I'd get rid of the ball real quickly too.
Yeah, he's amazing though. He finds the little space. And the great thing about the Warriors, Vern, is watch them play. They play like the San Antonio Spurs. They space the floor. They find the open man. They're very unselfish. They play great defense. I mean, you enjoy it. Even if you're a casual fan of the game, they're a fun team to watch just because of the way they play.
Now, here's the question: Can they break the record for best start by an NBA team?
Yeah.
Done twice. Once by the 1993 Houston Rockets, and then once by the 1945 Washington Capitals.
Wait, you're talking about you mean the Bulls?
Well, he's talking about the most wins to start the season.
Oh,
right?
most wins to start. Okay, I thought you meant the all-time. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What number is that? 9? It's number 9, right?
Well, as we speak, they're at number 9. But of course,
as we do this show, they're 9-0.
Yeah.
And then they have a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
And what is the record?
10-0.
I think the record, I believe it's 13 wins in a row to start a season.
No, it's 15.
Oh, was it 15? Okay, 15. Wow.
15. Done by the 93 Houston Rockets, the 1945 Washington Capitals.
And the Rockets win it all in '93?
No, they didn't. They won the Bulls won it 91, 92, 93, and then the Rockets won it 94, 95.
With Hakeem.
With Hakeem.
Yeah.
That's right, Hakeem. Hey, Vernon, what is the record for the most wins in the NBA? I think it's something like
72.
Is it
72, right?
By the Bulls. Yeah.
By the Bulls, okay. I always remember when I was a kid, the Philadelphia 76ers with Wilt Chamberlain and Hal Greer and Wally Jones, and they won, I think, 68 or 69 games. And they won the title. They beat the Warriors in the championships, but the Warriors won 67 last year. They look better than they did last year.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's so easy to say. I mean, but again, we're 9 games into the season, so as we do the show. So I'll reserve the right to be cautiously optimistic.
But they seem a lot more fluid. They're not turning over, except for like last game. They're not turning it over as much.
I think one of the things, and tell me if you agree with me, Vernon, because you're in that locker room talking to these guys. There's been a lot of discussion about the fact that people have said, well, the Warriors were lucky. They didn't have to play San Antonio. They didn't have to play the Clippers. They didn't have any injuries last year. They were fortunate. Well, you got to be a little lucky to win that many games. But they use that kind of as a incentive to sort of push themselves because a lot of people are saying, oh, the Warriors aren't going to win it again this year. And now, after the first 9 games, a lot of people are saying, well, maybe they're having second thoughts about that.
Well, it's just the way they're beating everybody, and they're winning in all different kinds of ways. They can win the close ones. They can win the blowouts, obviously. say it. You know, they beat Memphis by 16, but when they met for the first time, they beat them by 50.
50.
So they're winning by over 17 points per game, and they're just getting help from everybody. Now Bogan's back, and so you got a rim protector in there. It's just they can just stack you and break you down, and every night besides Curry, they can have somebody else stepping up to contribute.
How much of this now? I know I'm guessing everybody loves Steve Kerr, but I wonder how much of this is Luke Walton, kind of stepping up when Kerr's injured.
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, how much of a difference has it made to be able to find a guy who just seamlessly takes over? There's no drop off at all.
Well, I mean, there's only been, you could argue that there's only been maybe a couple of games where Luke has really had to break out the clipboard and draw up a play and get them out of certain situations. The rest of them, you and I look like we can just fill up the lineup card. Just whistle for us when you want a breather.
That's true. I mean, you're right.
I give a lot of credit to Luke because he's very good on strategy. I mean, but when he was an assistant with Curry, he's the one that would have to break down the films, and he's the one that was really hands-on and running a lot of the practice, kind of carrying out Steve's philosophy. So I think Luke's done a very, very good job, and when job openings come up next year, boy, you betcha, Luke's name will be thrown out there.
Every time I see Luke Walton too, I keep thinking to myself, geez, I feel old because I covered his dad back in the 70s when his dad was a dominant player. Sad thing about Bill was Bill just couldn't stay healthy. He had that one great year, but before and after that, he just, he got to play in the Celtics briefly too when they won a title. But
the knees, right?
Yeah. The knees got him.
Yeah.
And if you saw him today, I mean, it's a struggle for him to really get around.
Hey, what's it like going in that Warrior locker room, though? Because a lot of locker rooms of winning teams, you get big egos and guys that sort of stiff the reporters and don't give you the time of day. And I get the feeling that the Warriors are not that way at all.
Well, the impressive thing to me is a lot of them are character guys. What you see is what you get on and off the floor. They're nice. They'll talk to you. They're approachable. So I credit them for that. I mean, there's no, after these games, it's not like it's the loud boom box that permeates through the locker room and where you just barely hear yourself talk. It's not really like that. I mean, it's pretty cool. And Steph himself has every reason to be, kind of a diva-like status, but he's just as regular as a superstar can be.
Well, it's a good upbringing by his parents.
Yeah, well, Dell, his father was a great player, and Dell and his mom were always at the games too.
I think one of the reasons the Warriors are doing so well is their bench is so deep. I mean,
that's right.
No question. But you contrast the Warriors guys with what's going on up in Sacramento. You not only have a team that has some talent, DeMarcus Cousins and Rudy Gay, and I guess they've had some pretty good players come through there over the years. But George Karl has got an open revolt on his hands. I mean, Cousins and Karl literally hate each other. The owner hired a general manager, Vlade Divac, who was a good player, a very good player, but had no experience as a general manager, and he didn't hire Karl. So there's a mess going on up in Sacramento right now. It's totally.
Usually general managers like to bring in their own guys. I think Karl you have to respect just on the basis of his resume,
Yeah.
and he does know the game. But I haven't really been around Karl that much. I wasn't here in the Bay Area when he coached the Warriors in the '80s before Don Nelson. So it's tough for me to comment on what man or man as a coach.
Hold that thought. We got to cut to a quick break here. Okay. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1974, how did defensive back Dick Night Train Lane get his nickname? All right. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We will be right back. We're going to have to ask you a little bit of an old.
Yeah, it's interesting about what we were saying about Karl. Karl's apparently his energy level is pretty low because he's had the cancer and he can't speak very loudly. And I'm not sure. He used to be kind of the crazy guy who would just go nuts once in a while, and he just doesn't have that kind of. Maybe it's a good thing because he and DeMarcus Cousins might get into a fight or something. Jeez. Of course,
here's a little George Karl trivia for you. He is the first point guard to run Dean Smith 4 corners offense.
Really?
Carolina.
Interesting. Wow. You know, he was a pretty good player in the ABA. He and Doug Moe, believe it or not, and Larry Brown, who all became coaches, played together with the Oakland Oaks, with
Really?
Rick Barry. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, that must have been some show.
Yeah, it was. It was. Well, they won the ABA title. So there you go.
All right, here we go. We're going to do this last segment here with you. Okay. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. We asked this trivia question. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1974, how did defensive back Dick Night Train Lane get his nickname?
Well, I'm going to guess, maybe Vern knows the answer to this one, but I'm going to guess it's because he was a terrific interceptor of passes, and you could just take off, and it was like a night train, you know, going to the house, taking it to the house. What do you think, Vern?
I thought it was the impact of his hits on you.
Oh yeah.
It was almost as if you were hit by a train.
That sounds more like it.
Now that does sound good, and that could still be part of this, but Tom Fears of the Los Angeles Rams
Another great player.
gave him his nickname after a song.
Oh, Night Train. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's great. I love
I
it.
thought that was kind of funny.
You know what's sad, and tell me if you agree with this, Vern, and also, Edward, if you agree with this, in the old days, and I say old days, up until the 1980s even into the 80s, players had nicknames.
To my kids, the old days or anything before 2000.
Yeah,
Icky Woods.
But players had nicknames. They don't have nicknames anymore. I mean, and the media gave them these nicknames, or their friends did. You just don't hear of players having nicknames anymore. I mean, you have guys with unusual names like Ray Armstrong. Oh, speaking of Ray Armstrong, I don't know if you guys heard this story. I'm sure Vernon did. I don't know if you heard this, Edward. Ray Armstrong, he's a backup linebacker, I believe, with the Raiders. He apparently, according to the Pittsburgh police, he was walking through the corridor between the locker room and the field, and there's some police dogs, being held by the cop, and he barked at this dog.
And he started barking at the police dog.
Now Lincoln Kennedy, who works on the Raider broadcast, one of the former Raider greats at offensive lineman, he told one of the local stations that, in fact, Ray didn't do anything, that he was walking by this dog. The dog went crazy, and Ray started barking back at him, which he probably shouldn't have done. But now he's been charged with a third-degree felony.
Yeah.
Is that? And now what's going to happen with that, Vern? Are they actually going to pursue that? Because he'd have to go back to Pittsburgh to.
I'm sure that the two sides are working at it.
Yeah.
There are people who are handling it. I very seriously doubt that a warrant would be issued.
What was your take on
I
this?
was in Pittsburgh. I did not see the incident.
Did you hear about it afterwards? I mean, did you hear any particulars about it? Because I heard two different versions. One that the dog went after him and he just barked at the dog, kind of sort of taunting it, and the other was that he immediately started taunting the dog.
What you got to do is you got to interview the dog, get his side of the story.
Yeah. But it seems to me like they wouldn't be pressing charges unless there wasn't some validity to this, because the cops are right there with him. So I don't know. Maybe Ray just got he was a little fired up before the game. He saw the dog and he just started, Arr! Let's get rid of it.
The story came out because the Steelers won the game. I mean, what do they want?
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, you got to remember, Pittsburgh's a place where the Franco Harris Immaculate Reception that weekend. There were two Raider players that came back to the hotel, and the Steeler fans were trying to keep the Raiders up by making noise outside the hotel, and there were a bunch of cops outside the hotel. And a couple of these Raider players were trying to get back in, and they couldn't get in. And one of them, Warren Bankston, I believe it was, a tight end, got hit in the head by a cop and couldn't play the next day because he got belted with a belly club because he got in an argument with a cop. So Pittsburgh's known not to be too friendly to the Raiders. So.
Well, all I can go is the people that I've met in Pittsburgh. I mean, they are passionate, football savvy fans. I'll leave it at that.
A terrible
I had a great time in Pittsburgh.
How do you like that stadium too? I hear that Heinz Field is really nice.
Yeah, the Heinz Stadium is great. The press box, good and bad, plenty of room, food terrific. It was good. I had not been to Heinz Field. I had been to Pittsburgh since the Three River Stadium was up in full swing.
Wow.
Now it's a parking lot.
It's a fun town though. Pittsburgh is like a large kind of this sounds funny to say, but it's got the small town feel, but it's a big city.
Yeah.
But it's got that small town feel, doesn't it, Vern?
It It does. In fact, I'll give you more knowledge. The character Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood,
Oh yeah.
Fred Rogers, is from Pittsburgh,
Really?
and a lot of the ideology and characters that he put in his show are influences that he had growing up in Pittsburgh.
Wow. Is it Mark Cuban from Pittsburgh too?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
That's information I'm giving you for free.
Oh, there's been some great athletes come through there. When you think about Roberto Clemente and Terry Bradshaw and Willie Stargell and
Honest Wagner.
and
Montana.
Joe Montana was from there. I think Marino.
Did you say Dan Marino
I
already?
think Dan Marino was from there. Yeah.
Don Shula.
Yeah. And isn't Jim Tom Sula, the 49er head coach from Pittsburgh? I think he
Tom
is.
Shula was away from Three River Stadium. Yep.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, is Dan Marino in the Hall of Fame?
I believe he is. Yes.
Okay, so here's a question for you: should a quarterback get into the Hall of Fame without ever winning a championship?
Well, if he's put up great numbers, sure. I mean, because there are a lot of athletes that are in the Hall of Fame that never won a championship. Ernie Banks is in the Baseball Hall of Fame, never even got in the World Series. So, yeah, no
Yeah,
question.
but okay, so baseball though is a little bit more of an individual sport.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Right?
But, I mean, Marino put up some great numbers. I mean,
But in the NFL, you have to be dominant at your position.
Yeah.
Minimum of 5 years.
You do.
I mean, I agree because it's not fair to.
Can you imagine a Hall of Fame without Gale Sayers?
I can't. No.
Yeah, that's good. That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously.
I'm amazed that Marino didn't get into more Super Bowls. He got into one early in his career, and then they never went back to one. They always had good teams, but they never quite got over the top.
I mean, the NFL's been around for a long time, but the Super Bowl's only been around for the last 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you can go back, let's say, championships before the Super Bowl.
Sure.
It's still, of course, like someone like Otto Graham.
Well, even then, you got to go back to 1947, 48, before the NFL really got going. Before that, you had the All-American Football League.
That's right.
And that's where you got those great, teams like the Redskins in the 30s and the Steelers in the early 40s with Bill Dudley. It's just, I mean, if you're great, no matter what era.
Yeah, did Sammy Baugh ever win a championship?
He did. I think Slinging Sammy Baugh, yeah.
Slinging Sammy. There you go. There's your nickname.
He passed away just recently. I think he was in his 90s.
He was in the 90s.
So funny. I remember seeing him interviewed on NFL Films, and every other word was an F word they had to bleep out, but they loved him because he was so real,
Curmudgeon.
He was a curmudgeon.
Didn't he punt like a 98-yard punt one time?
Amazing athlete.
Yeah.
Something incredible.
A good quarterback and a punter, too.
I wonder what Vernon and I would have been like having to cover those teams back in the 1940s and 50s. You think we would have enjoyed that, Vernon?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd like to let my typewriter with me.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, when I first started working in broadcasting in the mid '70s, the sound I remember hearing that always reminded me of where I was the sound of typewriters in the press box, and that went on well into the 1980s. So yeah, it's a different world today. It really is. And there's so much of the internet involved now, and so many of these websites. These young guys, you see them at the games. I'd never seen them before, who work for these websites, and they're very passionate, very knowledgeable. But fans are getting their information from a lot of different sources now, right?
Yeah, right or wrong, they're getting information, that's for sure.
How much money is in fantasy football?
Oh, and speaking of that, what did you think of this? What did you guys think of this New York State shutting down?
Shutting down FanDuel and the other one.
Yeah,
the
fantasy sites.
They got them on glorified betting.
Yeah, they say it's not. They said they're fleecing. That was the word they used. They're fleecing the public. How can you be fleecing the public when the public is putting their money out there and there is some skill involved in
how
figuring it out?
much do they take a certain percentage?
Oh,
commission?
sure.
Maybe that's
sure
where the fleecing. Because if you're just betting against, like, if I'm just betting against you,
you're right.
Then there's no fleecing going on.
Yeah.
I mean, unless somebody's intermediary and taking too huge a commission on it.
I don't know much about these fantasy leagues, but it seems to me if you're going to be in a fantasy league, why not just be in there with your friends? Why get some big conglomerate involved? What is the reason behind that?
Well, don't you have to kind of, like, if I pick, let's say, Colin Kaepernick,
right?
You can't pick him,
right?
So someone's got to arrange.
I see. Everybody can get it. Okay, yeah, all right.
Vern, you're the youngster in the group. How does all that work?
From what I understand, you invest a certain amount of money. You pick your team week in and week out. You're not bound by having to be like in a league and play every week. Play once if you want, and you get out of it when you put into it. If your player that you pick earn enough points.
Interesting.
But yeah, who
Basically what
determines the
it's
points?
predicated on.
I mean, so it's like someone's got to determine the points. Like wide receiver gets so many yards,
Yeah.
or something like that. Like what was the FanDuel one with guy? You know, it says he invested like $32 or something, and he's now won $2 million or something.
Is that right? Well,
Yeah, but that's I mean, how often does that happen?
Yeah.
Once every blue moon.
that's like going to Vegas and putting your money on blue, and all of a sudden, whoa! I put my money on red or whatever, and I hit the jackpot. Hey, before we close things down, I got to ask you a little bit about what has happened to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I know we know what's been happening to them, but the audience out there, many of them who are not from the Bay Area, probably wonder, how many teams have taken this dramatic a fall. And I think we all saw that it was going to be a tough season after Justin Smith and Patrick Willis and Chris Borland retired. And they lost Mike Iupati and Anthony Davis.
Well, you know what's going to happen.
And Michael Crabtree.
Colin Kaepernick's parents are going to call and say, "Hey, my son deserves to play. Get rid of that coach unless he plays."
That's right. But have you ever seen outside of the Miami, the Florida Marlins when they broke up that World Series team in 1997, I think it was, or 98, when Wayne Huizenga broke them up? I can't remember a team falling so far from grace.
Well, I just think it happens from era to era, Bruce. I mean, in the 1960s it was the Packers. Then what happened to them in the 70s? They went off the radar.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Cowboys have had their heyday, and then sometimes not. We talked about the Chicago Bears in '85, where they've been since. So I just think you have your moment, and then it's gone. And right now, the only team I can think of that's been right in the wave for a long time are the New England Patriots. And people have been trying to copy what they do for years.
But like with the Bears, they don't have.
Able to duplicate it.
Did the Bears break up the team?
No, they were actually still a pretty good team. They were in the NFC Championship game a couple years later. They actually still had a very respectable team. But I was just saying, the 49ers have fallen so quickly. 2 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl, or 3 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. 2 years ago, they were in the NFC Championship. And all of a sudden, you lose your coach, you lose your, Michael Crabtree's playing great ball with the Raiders. You lose all these all-pro players. I mean, it's a sudden change. You just don't see that.
But I can remember when the Seattle Seahawks were in the Super Bowl, when they had Sean Alexander.
Yeah.
And after that year, where'd they go? They vanished. Nobody talked about them until Pete Carroll got back there again.
Boy, he did a nice job up there. Pete Carroll seemed to get out of USC at the right time, just before all the you-know-what hit the fan. He goes up to see it. That guy has really got the Midas touch.
By the way, great documentary. The Trojan Horse 30 for 30 documentary.
I heard about that.
I highly recommend that if you get a chance.
Interesting stuff.
It's complete rise and fall of USC football.
Oh, wow.
And they're back, they're respectable again. Speaking of teams that are looking good in college ball, how about Stanford? Nobody talks about them because they're a small private school out here on the West Coast. Ranked 7th, and they've been this good for the better part of 5-6 years since Harbaugh was down there.
Yeah, Stanford appears to be back. I don't know. We'll see how long they can maintain it. They got Oregon this weekend. Then you got Cal down the road. You got Notre Dame down the road for them. So but hey, good for them because man, when they lost to Northwestern at the beginning of the year, I was like, well,
what's going on there?
Hey, absolutely.
Hey, Vern,
there's a lot of surprises, particularly Iowa, which went from 9th to 5th in the nation.
Hey, Vern, stay with us. We need to go quick break, and then we're going to let you go. All right, here's the last trivia question.
Never tell a broadcaster, by the way, you're going to let you go.
Yeah.
we
Don't
hear
have a
that
heart
one.
attack.
We get a little nervous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the first Miami Dolphin inducted into the Hall of Fame that spent his entire career with the Dolphins?
Good question.
That's the question. All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101, and we'll be right back with some closing comments.
I'm off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody. Can you, Vern?
Bob Gracie.
Bob Greasy. Yeah, that sounds possible.
He spent his entire career with the Miami Dolphins.
I don't think Bob Greasy played anywhere else.
I don't think he played anywhere else either.
Yeah. I know Zonka and Kick went over to the World Football League. Warfield did. I'm trying to think of, they had
about the World Football League.
Yeah, that's right.
That.
Yeah, it was only around for a while. Ken Stabler signed a huge contract with the Alabama team, but never went down there. Never went to the Birmingham Bears.
That's where he was from, right?
Alabama? Yeah. Al Davis was really upset about that.
Alabama.
How about Clemson? Talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the number one team in the nation.
All right, guys, you ready? We're just going to close this bad boy off.
All right.
All right.
All right. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host. I'll still be Edward Brown after the show, but just last segment for today. And along with Bruce McGowan. Yeah.
That's always scary when you say the last time.
Last time.
Yeah.
No, not dying. Okay, who was the first Miami Dolphin inducted in the Hall of Fame that spent his entire career with the Dolphins?
Vernon and I were talking about that off air, and I think you have.
My guess was Bob Greasy.
And you would be correct.
Yeah,
Bob Greasy.
That's a good guess.
Wasn't Howard Twilley or Paul Warfield?
No. Paul Warfield played in the World Football League. So, and of course that Miami no-name defense. They didn't have any, guys. And Nick Bonicani was the guy that really stood out. But
Manny Fernandez.
Nick Bonicani started his career with the New England Patriots, and in those days they were called the Boston Patriots.
That's right. And they had a kind of the funny-looking Patriot guy hiking the ball.
Yeah.
Well, Vern, it's always been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and we'll have to be getting in touch with you again. Okay?
Absolutely, man.
Thanks, boss.
Good talking to you, Vern. We'll see Vern at the game on Sunday. He sits right next to me at the Raider games. We have a great time talking about football.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Lucky guys.
We should invite you to come along. But the Raiders they're really tight about letting people into the press box.
Okay.
Especially people like you.
Yeah, I've got the reputation already.
Yeah, you get a bad rap.
It's okay.
Or bad rep, I should say.
Yes, that's right. Well,
it could be both.
It could be both.
Yeah.
Sure. But I like to just sit in my man cave and I can pause the game.
I've been in your man cave. That's a pretty nice place to watch a game.
That cave? Okay.
I do.
So you can go to the bathroom.
Now, here's the question. Is the wife allowed in the man cave?
Yeah, of course she is. I can't.
Yeah. See, my wife always stays away from my man cave. She's afraid of it.
Really?
Seriously, yeah, she is. She's afraid of it.
Maybe I've got to put some stuff in her and make her afraid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she'll keep putting up, lilies and flowers and curtains and stuff. No, we can't do that stuff.
No, she's horrified whenever she sees it. She's like, I don't want to go in there.
Well, maybe that's what she do is dirty it up.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm a clean guy. All right, thoughts for the day. Either I will find a way or I will make one, said Sir P. Sidney. Not sure who that was. And an invasion of armies can be resisted, but not the invasion of ideas.
Very true.
Hugo.
Very true. Victor Hugo.
Yeah. I figured I'd give you a little sort of sports, sort of non-sports type thing.
I like
Okay, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective, giving away more free vacations for answering.
I want those free vacations.
You got it, big guy. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so next week.
Right. Next week is not next week isn't Thursday.
No,
Thanksgiving.
we're going to do Wednesday.
Wednesday.
2 shows.
Okay. Sounds good. Can you just send me an email to remind me?
Yes. You want me to send it? Can I send it now?
Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh.